Hello guys, this is Harish Nagar and today I am going to talk about Arundhati Roy. Guys, Arundhati Roy was born in the year 1961. Now, what is important to know is that apart from being a very important Indian writer, she also served as political activist and she is involved in human rights and environmental causes. Now guys, there was a question in June 2013 and the question was that the following writers are involved in social activism. In addition to the practice of creating writing, you have to pick up the writers who are social activists along with being great writers. So the correct answer is Mahashweta Devi and Arundhati Roy. Guys, Mahashweta Devi and Arundhati Roy both served as social activists along with being great writers. Now, in this particular lecture, I shall be talking about 4 works of Arundhati Roy. The first work is The God of Small Things. The God of Small Things was published in the year 1997 and it is set in a fictional town. The name of that town is Ayammanam. So Ayammanam is a fictional town in which this particular story is set, and it talks about two twins, and these two twins were living together during their childhood, and then due to family tension they were apart for many years. So the story talks about the family tension due to which they had to be apart from each other. Now this particular novel won Booker Prize in the year 1997, and the two twins are Rahel, who is a girl, and Astha, who is a boy, and they are living with their divorcee mother whose name is Ammu, and they live in the South Indian state of Kerala. Now Ammu is a Christian and she recently have a divorce, so now she has no choice but to return to a parental home, and there she remarries a Hindu man. Now the story centers on the event when a cousin of Astha dies by drowning herself, and the name of that 9-year-old girl who drowned was Sophia Mole. Now when the two sisters and the mother they went to take care of her family of that dying sister Sophia Mole, there starts a love affair between Ammu and family carpenter named Velutha. Velutha is a member of untouchable caste, and that is from where we have got the title The God of Small Things. So since he is a carpenter, so he can make new things. So he is a god of all small things because he is from untouchable caste. So god of small things or god of laws come from Velutha. Now there is a love affair that happens between Ammu and Velutha, and a lot of things happen due to which the family is torn apart. Now this particular story is told from the perspective of the two children Rahel and Astha, and the novel moves backward from the present day India fateful drowning that took place 23 years earlier. So the story goes back in flashback scene in which they are told about the drowning of Sophia Mole and how the love affair between Ammu and Velutha has started. After this love affair, Ammu was banished from her home because she had an affair with a lower caste untouchable man, and she died miserably and alone at the age of 31. Rahel was expelled from school and she later marries an American whom she later leaves. Now the narrative begins and as Rahel is returning to her family home in India and to Astha specifically, and finally there is a hope that love will bring both of them together and they recollect the memories from the childhood and will heal each other's deep wounds. So that was the story of The God of Small Things. Now guys, the next work is The Algebra of Infinite Justice. This was published in the year 2002 and it is a collection of essays, and in this particular work she is talking about the power generating companies of the world who are manipulating the laws and policies of the nation. So basically it is talking about MNCs and how these MNCs are manipulating and controlling the developing nations. Now there was a question in June 2006. They were asked the question to match the author with the book correctly, and Arundhati Roy is correctly matched with The Algebra of Infinite Justice. Now guys, the next work of Arundhati Roy is An Ordinary Person's Guide to Empire. This was published in the year 2004. It consists of 14 well constructed and well developed articles, and they talking about political themes and colonization and domination of a developed nation on the developing nation. And finally we move on to the most recent work of Arundhati Roy, which is The Ministry of Utmost Happiness. This was published in the year 2017, and in this particular work we have Arundhati Roy who is describing the life in India during the time of partition, and she is talking about these two characters. One is Anjum, a transgender woman who comes to know about a great tragedy that happened in her life when she was living in Delhi as a refugee. And the second character is Tilo, who is a trained architect, and he journeys from Kashmir region to regenerate her love affair with Musa, who is a freedom fighter. So Tilo is a trained architect and journeying to Kashmir region to regenerate her love affair with Musa, who is freedom fighter. So these are the two main characters. Now there is a violent episode of modern Indian history from land reform, due to which a lot of poor farmers were disowned to the Godhra train burning and Kashmir insurgency thing. So she is basically weaving this particular story under the backdrop of the main incidents that shatters the modern India, specifically the Godhra train burning and the Kashmir insurgency, and how land reform took place in Kashmir, due to which all the farmers were disowned from their land. So that was the story of the Ministry of Utmost Happiness. So we have talked about 4 works of Arundhati Roy, namely The God of Small Things, published in 1997, The Algebra of Infinite Justice, published in 2002. Next is An Ordinary Person's Guide to Empire, published in 2004. And finally, The Ministry of Utmost Happiness, published in 2017. So that's it for today's lecture, guys.